Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which we're going to see where to place ourselves on the map depending on the type of tank we're playing, the map itself, or even the team composition. Obviously, as this subject is quite long, I'm going to do it in multiple videos, and here's the first. As we need to start somewhere, today we're going to take a look at which side of the map is considered good for either tank destroyers, heavies, medium, or light tanks. Let's jump into it. To do this, I'm going to highlight the most effective way to play your tank based on the type class on the maps directly. We are going to have blue for heavies, red for tank destroyers, yellow for mediums, and green for lights. Let's go. The first thing that is extremely important to notice about World of Tanks Blitz in general is that it's a 7 versus 7 matchmaking, which implies that if you want to be effective, you need to stick with the rest of your team. All the advice I'm going to give you in this video are depending on either your team is going on the left or the right side, because most of the time, if your team splits in half, you are going to lose. There is something common about all the maps in World of Tanks Blitz. You have the possibility of just separating them in half right there, and there is always a better side regardless of the team composition, regardless of your skill, regardless of everything. And on OASIS Palm, the best side is this one that I'm going to represent with a 1. This is truly the side you want to play on when it comes to that map, regardless of the team compo. That being said, let's imagine your team is doing the right thing and goes on this side we just talked about. Where do you want to place yourself? If you're a heavy tank, there are several positions that are really interesting. For me, the best one is you jump off straight right there. If you have a good turret armor, from this position, you have the possibility of blocking all the mediums that will try to climb right here, but also be able to sneak 1 or 2 shots on the tank destroyers that don't know how camo works, because you will be able to spot them if, obviously, they are equipping their tank the wrong way. There is also another position that can be quite interesting, which is right there. Because from here, you have the exact same possibilities as this position right here, but you will be able to crossfire a little bit earlier, which makes it really interesting. On the other side of the map, it's the exact same as your heavies will be able to go right here. As always, as I told you, you need a strong turret armor because it's mainly an all-down fight. But also, if you are interested, you could try this position right here or this one, which works as well, as long as you don't go too far and don't expose the rest of your hull. But overall, all the positions we're talking about right now are important to take only when you have a good turret armor. That being said, let's talk about the tank destroyers. It's quite easy because with them, all you have to do literally on this map is camp. What you want to do is either stick your team here behind the bush you have right there. From this position, you will be able to spot literally everything. And if people are trying to go cross those 2 small hills, you will be able to sneak shot. But you could also go right there. You have a huge hill right here at the bottom of the spawn, from which you have the possibility of sneaking shots on pretty much everything on the map right here. And on the other side, it's quite simple. You have the exact same position right here, and the bush we're talking about is located either right here or right here. But I would not advise you to take this one, because here you're a little bit too close to the enemies, and if one medium is going recklessly into the spawn, you're going to get spot and destroyed by literally everyone that will focus you. Now let's talk about the mediums. If you have a strong turret armor, you can do the same as the heavies, and you could try to take that position right there with the rest of your heavies. But you also have the possibility of going straight here uphill, and from here sneak some shots on the reckless heavies that will push on the other side. Now you also have the possibility, but you need to be really skilled, to literally circle, because yes, it could work. If you don't have any turret armor, you are completely useless sticking to this side right here. And doing this, you will probably be able to spot the tank destroyers and help your team by scouting. The main problem doing this is that if you encounter something here that is not a tank destroyer, you are going to get wrecked. So if you do that, please do it wisely and know the consequences it could have. If you don't feel like it, you could still stick with the rest, but all you will have to do is waiting right here at this position that your heavies take shots, and when the enemies are reloading, maybe poke here, but be careful about the things who are camping, or circle like we just said. From the other side, it's the exact same. You can try to go there as well, but if you don't want to and you have strong turret armor, you can go with the rest of your heavies right there, but also at the top of the hill here. You could also try to play with the heavies here from time to time, because those positions are still quite good. You also have one last position that is really dangerous to take, which is this little canal here that got abandoned a long time ago, but I wouldn't advise you to take it too much. Finally, the last type of tanks we need to talk about, the lights. When you're a light tank, it's either you circle all the way around like a traditional medium, or you try to take an advanced position and play aggressively with the rest of your mediums right here. It's the exact same from the other spawn. You can do this or this. Now let's imagine your team decides to go on the other side of the map. Here, if you're heavy and you have a strong turret armor, the choice is quite easy. What you want to do is directly go there, but also you could try here. All those positions on the dunes are perfect. If you have a good side scraping tank, you could either go here or here. You have the possibility of going for both. And finally, if you feel like playing really aggressively, you could try to top up that position and take it here or here, but it really demands that you equip your tank properly and you know what you're doing. Otherwise, you don't try those. From the other side of the map, it's quite simple as well, because it is the exact same. You either go there, you can try to go here, or even take that position here. Finally, here or here by side scraping. Wait, I'm gonna link all of them because I feel like it's a little bit better. But this is pretty much what you want to do as a heavy tank if you're playing on this side. Now, as a tank destroyer, things are going to be a little bit more complicated, because the only position if you want to camp is located here on the green spawn and here on the red spawn, behind the rocks you have at the beginning. The main problem of those positions is that they will not necessarily allow you to take a lot of shots. Most of the time you will have to either expose yourself or wait for the rest of the heavies to push for you to be effective. Unfortunately, it's one of the few maps where tank destroyers are extremely dependent on what your heavies and mediums are going to do, therefore not a lot to do. Now, if you're playing mediums, things are going to get interesting. If you have a really strong turret armor with those, you can try the exact same positions the heavies are taking, but a little bit more aggressively, because thanks to your mobility, you will be able to take them faster than them. If you want, as a medium, you could try to go here as the same as the enemy heavies, or you could try to find your way up here and maybe try to take a position right here thanks to your gun depression, or even play aggressively right here to take them from the back. The main problem of this position is that if there is a tank destroyer camping, you are going to get wrecked, so you need to really be careful what you're doing. If you want to play really passively and you have an extremely good mobility, for example with a Leon, you can also try to sneak around like that and maybe try to take them from the back. The main problem doing this is that if you encounter one or two tanks, you are going to be dead, so you do that, but as soon as you spot something, you go back to the rest of your team. Now, that being said, on the other side of the map, it's quite simple. It's the exact same. You can try to go right here and take the exact same position and fight off mediums, or you could try to sneak around in the town like that with the rest of your heavies. Finally, if you have a good turret armor, it's the exact same. You can try to pop up right there and sneak some shots on either the tank destroyer that will be here or the rest of your heavies. Now, as a light tank, your role is extremely complicated, and obviously if you're a newbie, I wouldn't advise you to play it. But on this map, if you want to play with a light tank, you'll have to spot at the beginning of the game. So what you do is you go from your spawn like that, and you go straight here as soon as possible to spot the enemies. If you don't spot anything, that means that they were going on the other side of the map, which is good because you give the informations to your allies. And after, when you're done doing this, you come back to your spawn and you try the exact same on the other side. And from there, you will be able either to stay here and sneak some shots on the heavies that will try to cross here from the base circle or something like that, or you could also try to push forward and maybe sneak some shots and circle the tank destroyers that are waiting in the spawn. From the other side, it's the exact same. You go there as soon as possible and you do the same, you spot, and you also try to go on this side. Obviously, if you do that and the enemies have the same idea, you will be in a crossfire and you will have to get the necessarily skills for you to be able to survive. But if you do, you will be quite useful to your team because you will be able to inflict damage, but at the same time, spot for your teammates. But overall, you see that it's quite complicated to make it work on the OASIS palm when you are going on this side right here, which implies that yes, this side is the number one you want to go for. So please, when you have the possibility, tell your team to play on this side. That's it, guys, and now my maps looks nothing like usual because at least you'll have some keys to know where to place yourself and how to play correctly. I'm sorry that it's not the clearest possible way for this video to be uploaded like that on YouTube, but the problem is I lack quite a lot of time, and I'll go into details more and more talking about maps, but it's a subject that will literally take hours and hours and hours to talk about, so I want to make it small, maybe starting with each maps, and after I will be done with all the maps, I will then try some more complicated map analysis, but for the moment, this is all I came up with, and I hope it will help you a little bit. Hopefully you enjoyed. If that's the case, feel free to subscribe, like, and share, and I'm going to see you soon for a new video. Bye.